What's up, El Dorado? I'm your host, Macy Patterson, and I'm here with Mr. Campuzano, our Amazing Activities Director. Welcome to the first episode of the Hawk Talk podcast. So, how are you doing today?
Fantastic. I love late starts. There's a lot of free time this morning to clean up some loose ends from the day before.
Yeah, not today though.
Not today.
You got us. All right. So, first question. One of my favorite questions. If you won the lottery, what would you do?
Ooh, I'd retire immediately. I'd say goodbye to the nest, but maybe I'd leave a little something at the end of the rainbow for El Dorado to do some fun stuff for students. But yeah, I'd definitely retire. And my oldest boy's already graduated. He'll be hopefully moving out one of these days, going off to college, and stuff. And Mrs. C and I could go and travel and so forth. So that'd be really fun.
Where would be the first place you travel to?
Well, I would say anywhere tropical, where we could put our feet up and hear the waves crash and just relax for a while.
That sounds very nice.
Yes. Cool. I know we just finished summer, but yeah, it sounds glorious right now.
I'm like, it's in the moment where I'm still like, oh, summer was so fun.
Yeah.
Like, I love school, but also it was nice having that.
Yeah, there's an excitement when school starts. It's really fun. You can't really replicate it, but yeah, summer's a good time, man.
Yeah. Speaking of school, like, what's your favorite part about Eldo?
Well, as much as I love my colleagues, the students are the best. For whatever it's been, 23 years now of education at two different schools, I've just come to realize that the motor that runs the campuses are the kids, and so. Here at El Dorado, it's literally, I call it the greatest school on earth because of the students that come through the gates every day. I adore them, and they do so much. I was never the kid when I was in high school here that was in ASB. I was an athlete, but I wasn't the kid that, like you guys in Hawk Talk, that are here in the early mornings and the late nights. So in my job now, I'm your biggest fan because of that. I see what you guys do nonstop, and it keeps me inspired. That's what keeps me youthful, and a lot of Red Bull. But it's the kids. The kids are inspiring, and now those kids that I taught 20-something years ago are, married, have kids, have careers and stuff, and hopefully a little inspiration went their way, through coming through the gates of El Dorado and so on.
Yeah, that's gotta be amazing to see, like, kids that you teach move on and have their own lives. Like, that's got to be insane.
Well, we're so lucky too, because my generation of educators, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, you're able to keep up with all these kids that have graduated, right? Yeah. My teachers probably have no idea that what I'm doing, because I never posted anything. I never had the ability to. So it's really cool to have all these students go through El Dorado and see where they're at. 10, 15 years later and see how well they're doing. So
what was El Dorado like when you were a student? You said you were an athlete. Like, what sport did you play?
I was a soccer player for all 4 years. I dabbled in football my sophomore year. I wish I could have played more, but I was really focused on soccer. I loved it, and it really took care of me all the way through college, so that was a good thing. But man, El Dorado back in the day, it's changed a little bit. The Theatron has always been there. With all the benches and the lunchtime activities and the music and stuff, and the senior quad, that was all there when I was here. I would say the two biggest changes would be lockers. We're in front of the 200 building, where Mr. Wolf, Mrs. Wolf, Mrs. Karpinska, all of their classrooms are. Those used to be all lockers. And so it's really different now not to not have those there. And then the other big change is payphones. We used to have a couple payphones on campus, and you'd drop a dime in there and call home and say, hey, can I get picked up? So there'd always be a line out front by the front office. There was a payphone out there, which seems odd, right? Because everybody has their own phone now and so forth. But that's what it was like, And I do think the cell phone piece of our lives that we all are connected to has changed education a lot as well.
Oh, absolutely. Right? In good ways and bad.
100%. Yeah.
I think it's kind of interesting because now I know we're not supposed to be like, hey, Mom, can you come pick me up? We're supposed to go through the office and all that. So I think it's interesting that there was just payphones.
Yeah, you had to
and
carry.
like that was easily available
Yeah.
if you had like a quarter.
Yeah, you had to have a couple dimes. I think it was maybe at one point 10 cents to make a call, and then it got pricey at 20 cents.
Inflation.
I know. So, but yeah, no, cell phones are cool. Everybody's got them, and they help out a ton. We all use them. I'm sure you guys keep in touch with each other. Like, hey, we got to be here at 8 o'clock. Make sure we're all set. This, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of positives to it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
With the lockers, I'm not gonna lie. When I was younger, like my idea of high school was not this. It was like indoors with hallways and lockers, and like I got to El Dorado. I'm like, where are the lockers? I'm like, little dream just got shattered. I'm like, it's fine though.
Yeah. Well, where did you go to middle school?
I went to middle school at Travis Ranch, so we didn't have lockers there either.
Yeah. I don't think Travis Ranch was there when I went to Tuffrey, and we had lockers at Tuffrey too. That's why I was trying to think of if any of the middle schools still had lockers on the outside of their buildings, because Tuffrey used to have them as well, but they don't have them there anymore either.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a total like High School Musical or high school, any kind of movie about high school. They always have lockers, and
like,
they always
they're all decorated.
Yeah, they meet up.
I wanted to decorate my locker.
Yeah.
Yeah, PE lockers are just not the same.
No, not even close.
So.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you could like go back and do it, would you do more football, or would you do more artsy things, or?
Well, I guess if I could turn back time, gosh, it's tough. I loved high school. I loved every second of it. I don't know if I could do. I might have done football again. I might do more, but I was so into soccer. Like I played it all the time. So I wanted to play basketball as well, but it was at the same season. So I don't think I could change anything there. But man, I had a really good time in high school. Probably too much fun. So I don't think I would go back and change anything. Back then you had disposable cameras, and you only had like 12 shots on a camera. The roll-up film, and so there's a few pictures. I don't have like hundreds of photos of high school. I just have a handful, and I can picture a couple of them, and they're awesome, and they're all good memories.
Good.
Take it day by day, because a lot of the kids who graduate always tend to say, they do wish they could go back and get involved sooner or do things differently. So yeah, take it day by day.
Yeah. What's it like to have, like your children went to this school, still do go to this school. What's it like to work with your family?
Well, it's a blessing at 100%, like as a parent, not as a teacher, not as a coach, not as an administrator or anything like that, but just as a parent, I get to spend time with my kid, whichever one it is, I get to spend time with them every single day. And so far it's been fine. And so when they graduate, then there's it's pretty bittersweet, but it's exciting that they're going on and moving on and stuff. But I'm a parent that gets to see my kid from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. every so often. And it is a luxury, because I think of all the parents that don't. And then they have to ask, how was your day? And find out some stories and stuff, when we really are, it's a luxury for us to be able to spend time with them.
Yeah.
I think we've been very fortunate too, because I think our children's groups of friends, and then to an extension, the entire campus of El Dorado is very welcoming and open, and they appreciate and respect each other. And so we've never had any issues. And going through this, like you guys, just every time I come into the video production room here, it's always welcoming and stuff. So I don't think there's ever been a spot where having kids here has been an issue. Mm-hmm. We're pretty lucky.
Yeah. My mom's a teacher. She doesn't teach here, but she teaches out in the Corona Narco district.
What does she teach?
She teaches adult transition, special ed.
Yeah.
But one of the ideas we had when we were choosing like what school to go to for high school is I could go to her school. I'm like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, plus like the school she used to work at, it was like much smaller. The programs were not as good, which is one of the reasons I love El Dorado. The programs are amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, so, but now I don't see her nearly as often because my parents are divorced. I'm not with her as much. So yeah, like I sometimes think like, what would it be like if she worked here?
Yeah. You just maybe give a wave every now and then, or say hi a little bit more often.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's all part of growing up and part of life. There's a few of us that have our kids that go to the same school, and so for good or for bad, they're stuck with us. or we're stuck with it.
Either way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I chose to go to El Dorado for the theater program and the film program, which is amazing. I love it here. But why did you choose to work at El Dorado?
Oh gosh, that's a great question. I first started teaching at El Medina High School in Orange. Well, I'll give you a quick rundown. For 3 years, I was the head girls varsity soccer coach here as a walk-on coach, as I was starting to work on my teaching credential. And there was a job opening at El Medina for a language arts teacher and a coach. And so I applied and got the job. And so that was my first teaching experience. So I taught there for 6 years and coached soccer, volleyball, golf, and taught English. And then out of the blue, the athletic director job opened up at El Medina. I thought, well, why not, mix it up a little bit? So what I started to do was I looked for other job openings so I could practice interviewing. One of the job openings was here at El Dorado for activities director. Now, hang on, it's a little bit convoluted. So I came here to practice for an interview for athletics at El Medina. And I made it to the final round of activities. Well, I didn't end up getting that job for activities. I wasn't really wanting it. I just wanted to practice my interview skills. Well, Mr. Tivenen, who was the department chair, called and said, hey, we'd like to offer you an English job. Would you take it? And at the same time, Mrs. Campuzano was just about to get her job as a counselor here. And so I said, well, I don't want to interfere with that. I don't want to get in the way of her getting that job because we were married and I didn't know what the rules were or guidelines if you could be married and work at the same school. Well, long story short, they said, yeah, you can do it, no problem. So I said, all right, well, cool. She got the job and then I accepted it because why wouldn't I want to come back to my alma mater? It's closer to home. And so next thing you know, I started teaching English here. And then 4 years later, after teaching English, then I got the activities job here and I haven't looked back. So I don't remember what your question was, but, but long story short, it was like a hurdle here, a hurdle there, but it wasn't like I was desperate or trying. It was just, things sort of happened that way.
Yeah.
And I ended up here, which seems pretty, for me, it seemed like it was a sort of a match made in heaven, so to speak, because I got my perspective of teaching at another school. I think that's really important to see how other schools work and stuff. And then being here now for a while, it's been really cool. It's been a blessing. Yeah. So yeah.
What was it like to work at the other school?
Well, I thought I was never going to leave El Medina. I loved it. I really did. And it's a fantastic school. The staff there was super welcoming and open. And for 6 years, I loved it. I really didn't think I was leaving. It just so happened that through the practicing of interviews and stuff, thinking I was going to try out for or apply for the athletic director's job, that it just so happened that this fell into my lap. But having that perspective of another school, seeing how students from another community and families from another community, activities, arts, athletics, and programs were at another school, having that background is really beneficial, I think, for what I do now. So it always reminds me that just because we do it one way isn't the way it always has to be done.
So why did you decide to become an activities director?
The best way I can explain it is that for my 10 years as an English teacher, I felt like I was teaching English activities in the classroom. So my classroom, I used to call it the land of magic. So kids would come in and I felt like I always wanted to have a place where kids wanted to be. It just seemed like a natural progression to see what I could do in the classroom with 38 students and see if I could pull that off with 2,000.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, it is. It's a huge difference, but I really felt like there was a calling to do more for more kids. And so having the opportunity to get to meet kids like yourself and outside of the classroom, like I might never actually get to meet you if I was still teaching just, junior English, right, for 4 or 5 periods a day. I may never have you in my class and never get to meet you, but now I get to meet practically every single kid and try to say hi and wave on the golf cart as I drive by and things like that. And that was like a calling for me to do that. Yeah. So it just seemed like the thing to do. And when I got the job, it was a perfect timing for me. And I haven't looked back. And hopefully I've been doing an okay job.
I think you have been. You're definitely the face of the school. You're doing the morning announcements. You're everywhere. I remember, I think my freshman year, I got my yearbook, and I was looking through it, and one of the senior confessions was like, or senior tips or whatever it was like, Mr. C is not our principal. I'm like, oh shoot, he isn't. I feel so bad for Mr. Davis, but I'm like, I didn't know who he was my freshman year, but I definitely knew you, and that was like during the COVID years where I didn't know anyone.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's really funny. I remember meeting you in the Theatron. I think you were having lunch one day, and I think we were talking about something. It was during COVID. And trying to just go around. And maybe it was passing out stickers or buttons or something like that.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, you were with a friend or two and stuff. So I remember that too. But yeah, it is funny. I think just trying to build positive school culture puts me out in the open a lot. But if you don't get those things unless you're getting involved. And so, through our conversation right now, hopefully if anybody's listening to this and you're a student, is to do more. Go out and get involved, because before you know it, you're throwing your cap in the air and you don't want to have any regrets, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, what you're doing is awesome. This is great.
But yeah, no, before you know it, you're an activities director and you're being asked what you want to go back and change.
Yeah.
And hopefully the answer is yours.
Yeah, no regrets.
Yeah. So what do you do outside of school?
I used to coach constantly. So with my three boys, I coached them all in soccer forever. And I just stepped aside from coaching with Quinn, our youngest. He's still playing club soccer. So every weekend with the boys was sports. So now in our free time, what we get to do is we still get to support them, but without coaching, it's a little bit more on the sidelines and sitting back and enjoying it. Noah played football here at El Dorado. I got to watch him from the sidelines, and then Evan does football and soccer. Quinn's doing band and soccer and hopefully volleyball and so forth. So all of it is just supporting those boys and being there for them to cheer them on, because we get told as parents all the time, and soak it in, because before you know it, they're done, and now what are you going to do on your weekends, because you got no more soccer games to get up for and stuff like that. So that, I would say, that's what Mrs. C and I do pretty much all the time. And then we have a really solid group of friends that we're lucky to to call our friends.
Friends are nice to have.
Yeah, very supportive people. Yeah.
I don't know what I'd do without my friends. I've had some of the same friends since second grade. I'm I grew up with them, and now I'm the other day I was just thinking oh my gosh, what would have happened if I never met them? Because I would have been in a totally different place.
Are your friends in the same grade? So you guys will be graduating together?
Mm-hmm.
Right on.
We grew up together, we'll graduate together, and then
see what
whatever
happens.
happens there. No, not nervous at all about that part.
Yeah.
Is there anything you personally like to do? What are your hobbies?
I love to play golf. I just don't get enough time because golf can take a while, but I love playing golf. I love playing poker with friends. Right now, what's really huge is fantasy football. So if Mr. Paku is listening, he knows that I'm in first place in our fantasy football league, ahead of him and Lucas and Blado. So, but yeah, with all that, those buddies, we have a good time doing stuff like that. Every now and then we get out to travel here and there, but not too far. But just we get to go to some fun places.
Where was the last place you went on vacation?
Last time the last place we went was Palm Springs. It was 110. Felt like we were on the sun, but it was beautiful. It was super fun, and it was a nice little getaway.
Yeah. Are you more of a hot person or a cold person? Because I cannot deal with heat. This last heat wave that we have was.
Well, it all depends. We all can't stand the heat when we're here at school. It's miserable, right? Because there's no shade. But if you're in a cool spot with a pool, then yeah, give me the heat. If I'm at the beach, give me the heat, because I'll just run in the water or the river. Give me the heat. But yeah, if I have to be somewhere like campus and it's 100 degrees, I feel bad for breaking lunch.
Yeah.
All the students,
all
right?
the kids and they're all kind of in one place.
Yeah. So yeah, I like the heat a ton. The cold is good for a quick vacation. Go snowboarding or something like that. But that's about it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but the beach and tropical stuff is always fun. We should open up the pool deck at lunchtime. Let students go out there and sit and put their feet in the pool and hang out, eat lunch.
That'd be nice. But I imagine like food would get in the pool.
Yeah, as much as I think a lot of students would be really cautious of that. I think we have a good group of kids that take care of things, but man, I think that'd be cool. Maybe do seniors on Friday, they could sit in the pool. Yeah. Juniors on Thursdays, It'd
be a fun
That'd be fun.
Day. Yeah, there's a lot of things
I'm going to get on that. Yeah. Are you listening, Mr. Davis?
I think that's definitely a good idea.
Right, and because every day for a senior is their last day of senior year, so it's fun to watch them say, okay, I'm not going to let this day go without doing something or whatever. So yeah, I think seniors would jump at the chance to have a pool day.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll do a senior junior tube game or something like that maybe we'll do a nonsense game in the pool or something. That'd be fun.
I think that would be a great idea.
Yeah.
I'm all for that.
We're going to do it now in December, though, when it's cold. See who really wants to get the points.
No, I think that is definitely worth the points, though. Yeah. If you go into the cold water, I feel so bad for, the people in swim who have to, go in there during winters. I'm like, how do you do it?
They're as tough as they get. Every kid in aquatics is as tough as they get. The stuff they do, the mornings, the late nights, and oh my gosh, just... Nobody knows what's going on in that pool in a water polo game. Yeah. They're as tough as they get.
So, while I was writing questions for this interview, I was talking to people, right? And I've realized that I don't actually know all that much about ASB. Mm-hmm. And I know the basics of it. They kind of run the school, they manage things, but I don't know what specifically we do. And I'm I feel so bad because my dad was in ASB at his school. He was the ASB president. He was always talking about all the things he's done. And I'm I have no idea what you're talking about. So
and you have asked a really great question. I think that in everything we do, and I would even go as far as any program, pick any program on the campus, and I say this a lot with our leadership students, that perception is reality. So what we try to do is make sure we're always maintaining positive school culture throughout every element of our day. So even the first step onto campus, we want to be walking tall, being proud of being a Golden Hawk. But your question in a general purpose, what we try to do is what's best for students. There's a slash at the end of that would say staff as well, but our sole goal is to do what's best for students. So every activity that we put on, we think of you, we think of everybody else on our campus and what would be fun for them. So as a simple dress up day, say a superhero dress up day. We know a lot of students are into Marvel and the DC universe and so forth. So we want to do a superhero dress up day. And then so we model that as well. So we all dress up no matter what. Even if we don't have a costume, we find a t-shirt or something to make sure that we're participating in it. And so as simple as a dress-up day, we're always trying to do what our students want. And so we can't do that every day. We can't do dress-up days every day. So we also do maybe senior quad days for the senior class. When it goes to putting posters down around our campus, all we're trying to do is to make our campus a place where students want to be. So as simple as a balloon arch, or as simple as that one poster that says Hawk Yeah, maybe a kid walks around campus and says, oh, that's cool, I want to come back to school tomorrow, I can't wait to see what's happening next. Now you mix in all those little details, and then you add in some large events like school-wide assemblies, opportunities for school dances at $10 to go to the Aloha Dance, creating a student section where any kid, any grade level can go up into the Hawk's Nest and be a part of it. Now you combine that with Hawk Talk, with theater, with our choral music program, with our cheer, our song, our color guard, our marching band, our wood shop with Mr. Fox, our science, all that stuff. Just look at what El Dorado is. ASB is a part of that. It's not the only thing. So I think sometimes people have this perception oh, ASB does this and ASB does that because they have to. Well, no, we get to. Just like we get to be a part of Hawk Talk sometimes, And so those students in leadership, they're working tirelessly, and currently this morning there were kids here at 7 a.m. working tirelessly for homecoming, which is just around the corner. So all we're doing is trying to make El Dorado the greatest school on earth and a place where kids want to be, just like you are right now with this interview. And like I said, with zero period choir and all those kids in marching band and color guard and so forth, like everybody doing something, we're all a part of the nest. And I really, really believe that. So that the last part about this, I know this is long-winded, I apologize,
No.
but the perception is reality piece. We want the perception to be that, yeah, we're here for you. That we are here for every kid and teacher on this campus. And then if you reach out beyond that, we have a community that asks a lot. Community service, like, can you come help out at Brookhaven? Can you come help out at Travis Ranch? And so as ASB students, yeah, we do that. We go volunteer at those places and so forth. So the perception is reality piece is really massive. And we want that perception in everybody's eyes and hearts to be that we're there for them.
Yeah, I think you do a really good job at that. And like all those different things that you've talked about is definitely like reasons I came to this school, like reasons I chose to go to this school rather than my mom's school or any other. I know there are so many kids who really enjoy the dress-up days. I remember the superhero one in particular. One of my friends like went all out and they decided to go as Batman, and like they put a little piece of paper on a gray shirt with the Batman symbol, and then like, but then like they had like gray pants, gray shirt, but then they also had like gray, like black shorts, and it looked so goofy, but like they rocked it. And it was like, oh my gosh. And they had a giant black cape. It just looked so cool.
Yeah, and it's moments like that that hopefully other students see, and then they start to feel comfortable. Like, okay, what the next dress-up day I'm in, I want to do whatever it is, a safari dress-up, welcome to the jungle, whatever it may be. You know, even with class colors, just wear that class color one time, and you'll feel so much more connected. And you might see a kid who you don't even know in your grade level, and you'll nod to them like, good job, you got the class colors on. And that's what builds the greatest school on earth for kids to feel like, gosh, I can't wait to go to school tomorrow. What are we doing next? And yeah, man, we have so many teachers here that model that and you know, encourage that. Yeah, it's a great place, man.
Absolutely, yeah. I know the last dress-up day, like there were so many kids wearing like green. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then like the whole school was like super colorful.
Yeah, and we have a low bar right now, which was the COVID years, right?
Oh,
I mean, what a mess. But even with that low bar, we've pole vaulted over that thing. I think students and staff have just really gotten behind things, and you know, to use the phrase all in, I think a lot of people are all in on let's have a good time and try to keep our grades up.
Yeah, that's my goal for this year. Straight A's and lots of extracurriculars. Yeah. I'm like, but it's hard to manage that though, like doing all of this plus then also having time for the actual like school aspect of it, which is really important, and like that's always my priority. But like doing all of that, and then I know like a lot of students have jobs that also like do that. It's hard to find time to be a kid.
It sure is, but I hope that there's a time and a place on a calendar somewhere that we can highlight, oh, I really want to do this on that day, and so we can prioritize that a week in advance and say, I can't wait to go to this volleyball game, or I want to make it to this basketball game, you know, and whatnot, you know, and prioritize that to get that experience. But yeah, you're right. People are busy. Students are busy. All their classes and jobs, maybe taking care of family and stuff. So hopefully that time while they're here, they're feeling comfortable though and involved.
Yeah, no, I think that's the part of the reason why things that ASB does is so important, because it's really what makes this school a school more than anything else.
Yeah, a chance to be a part of something, you know, bigger than ourselves. Absolutely, because when we're going to do homecoming reveal here pretty soon, and you know, hopefully students get behind that and they're like a part of it, and like, oh, that was cool. Can't wait to maybe go to this dance and you know, have that opportunity to do it. And we're not doing it just for us. We've got 2,000 students, and then when you think about it, the way social media works these days, every middle school kid is looking at what the high school students are doing, and they're like, I can't wait to go to the nest. I can't wait to be a part of that. So, you know, we're always trying to make sure it's a place that everybody's included.
So another thing that kind of got brought up when I was like trying to figure out questions for this was this thing called OCL. I've never actually heard of that. I have no idea what that is. So I'm sure that there are other people who might be listening to this who also doesn't know what that is, and I think this is a good time to
did you just attend, didn't theater just go to a conference?
Yeah, it was the Thespian Leadership Conference, but I'm not a part of the Thespian board, so I didn't go to that.
Okay, just a certain group. So I just saw that somewhere on social media, and it kind of rung a bell, like, oh, that's cool. I didn't even know that existed either. So to see them there, and I think they were in this big venue theater.
I saw it on Instagram. I'm like, that's so cool. I want to be there next year.
Yeah. So OCL stands for Orange County Leadership. And so the Orange County Leadership Association is all of the activities directors in Orange County that want to be a part of this association, and then we take our leadership students to a 4-day camp. And that 4-day camp has been going on for 60 years. So this year was the 60th year, all at UC Santa Barbara. And so for 4 days, as an advisor myself, I tell my students, these are 4 days all about them. So they get 4 days to go, and we go to class sessions, we dress up in costumes, we wear our school colors for Pride, we do a lot of games and activities. There's a volleyball tournament, there's keynote speakers, general sessions, school flags everywhere. So imagine 50 Orange County high schools, all at Santa Barbara, all with their flags, running around and cheering together and getting to know each other for 4 days. So what I tell El Dorado ASB is that these 4 days are for you. And we go hard all day long, and then at nighttime there's 2 dances during the 4 days. So we get to dance, they're 2-hour dances, and we have a great time with all the other schools. So like I keep saying, those 4 days are all about them. Because when we come back, it's not about us anymore. It's about you, it's about every kid and every teacher and every person in our community. It's not about us anymore. So we really take advantage of those 4 days to come together, to get to know each other, and have a great time with each other. And so Orange County Leadership, OCL, is 4 days of bonding like I've never experienced. I tell the kids, I say it's the greatest bonding experience I've ever been a part of. Being a college athlete and traveling and stuff, this OCL camp is even bigger than that bonding. It's amazing what happens at that camp. So August 2nd through the 5th was this year. So when we returned, we turned a corner, and it wasn't about us anymore. Now it's all about everybody else. So everything we do is for our community. When we all come back to campus, we want to make sure we're trying to make everybody feel connected, everybody have relationships on our campus. And it's not easy. I get it, it's not. But if we can get one student to maybe go to a lunchtime theater performance, an evening theater show, a choir performance, those small connections make us all feel like we're really a part of something bigger than ourselves. And so I think that's why we do all these things, right? And obviously for individuals, we get the experience of singing on stage or dancing on stage, performing on stage. But also in the audience, if I'm a Golden Hawk and I'm sitting, I got a ticket and I'm watching you guys perform as a student, I'm a part of that too. I'm like, this is awesome. Going to a field show for band, it's the same thing. Like, oh my gosh, look at the hundreds of kids out there. I'm a part of that school, and they're awesome because the theater shows, we literally have the greatest school on earth because of all those programs. So yeah, we want to bring people to those to feel connected. Yeah. You don't have to be on stage. You could be backstage. You could help out there, volunteer. You could sell tickets. There's so many ways for kids to get involved. So by doing all these bondings as groups, it's also helping out others, I think, down the road.
Absolutely, yeah. I know with theater, oh gosh, I talked about this with some people the other day, but when we're on stage, the audience makes a huge difference because the audience really is a part of the show, even if they're just watching. But I've gone to performances where the audiences are just dead. I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel so tired by the end of them. But then when you get the shows where the audiences are all fun and laughing along, and sometimes laughing at us, it makes the energy of the audience has such a big impact on the energy of the actors.
Yeah. Hopefully there are a lot of people listening that they all went to the Alibis because that looks like a really fun show.
It is. It is such a fun show. Yeah. I'm a part of that.
Yeah.
Alibis is actually the first show that I have an actually good character in. I'm so excited. I'm like, hey, this feels kind of pathetic, but this is my best role. So yeah, hopefully whoever's listening went to that. And if you didn't, I'm shamelessly plugging Tom Jones.
Oh yeah, Tom Jones.
Which is the next
That's the fall play, right?
Yeah, fall play. And then
Did auditions happen for that already?
they're happening today,
Oh,
actually.
today? Wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I got this, and then the whole rest of the day I got that to look forward to.
Yeah, maybe I'll do a theater morning trivia today for the donuts.
I think you should, and I think that you should just give them to
Who's your second period teacher?
Miss Anderson, AP Lang.
Well, I'll just tell her to get on those keyboards, on that keyboard quick.
Yeah, or you could like give me the questions now. I'm like, hey, Miss
Well,
Anderson.
why don't you tell me what you think? Do you guys, does your class like morning trivia? Do you guys look forward to Wednesdays? Is that something?
Yeah, I've always loved the morning trivia.
Have you guys, what about you two over there behind the screen? You guys like morning trivia? Yeah. Yeah? That was a yeah for the audience.
If you didn't hear that.
Have your classes won? Have you been in a class? What class was it?
It was last year. It was the AP European History.
Oh, okay.
It was at the very end of the year.
I was going to say that was the end of the year. Yeah.
And like we finally got donuts. I'm like,
you guys were excited.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'd never I went all my freshman year, almost all of my sophomore year. I'm like, I'm never going to
win?
Yeah.
I think that all the classes I go into, man, when they're excited and hooting and hollering, it's the best feeling.
Yeah.
So.
We know that you did language arts, right? Or language activities in your magic classroom.
Yeah.
But if you could teach any class at all, it could be language arts, it could be something different, but if you could teach anything, what would be your like dream subject to
Physical education. Yeah, ceramics would be a close second though. But being outdoors in PE and stuff would be awesome.
Yeah.
We have awesome PE teachers out there, and to be able to be active and outdoors, I think is like a blessing for as a human being. As opposed to being in the classroom all day. And
Yeah.
so I think PE and then ceramics, man, when I was here, we had a teacher named Mr. Wright, and I had him for a couple of years, and then I took ceramics in college. And so it was always a moment for me of like, gosh, maybe I could go back and do that. And if I could, then yeah, I might have continued with ceramics to see where the art world could take me. And then architectural drafting, we had a computer-aided drafting class here when I was here, and I took that in college. So if there was a drafting class or architecture, piece, like maybe we create an academy for that, then that would be something as well. So yeah, but PE and ceramics for sure.
I feel like I kind of cheated myself out of PE. I took PE online pretty much all my year because I wasn't here on. I didn't take PE last year. I took it over the summer.
Right.
But yeah, no, and now I'm like, gosh, I kind of miss PE. I'm like, I've got friends who would be like, Macy, you do not miss PE.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it is 9 though, so we gotta wrap this up. But
Okay.
it was so great to talk to you and have this conversation. I've learned a lot.
Same here. Yeah, it's really fun to be invited to do this. So
Yeah.
hopefully, other people listen and they want to sit in this
Hopefully
chair one
so.
day and we can hear about them too. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much
My pleasure.
for doing this
It is
and
my
giving
pleasure.
us an hour of your time.
Yes, hawk yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Good job.
Thank you for tuning in to the Hawk Talk podcast. Come back for the next episode where we will be just as amazing.